Hey, all right. I am so excited about tonight. I'm so excited to see you all. And a quick disclaimer that I am going to give at the beginning of every class. I'm not a licensed financial advisor. I'm not a CPA. I'm not a tax certified person. I'm not a guru, rabbi, or priest. I am a mom, but I'm not your mom, so I don't get to tell you what to do. But what I can do is share what I've learned, what's worked for me, and give you some solid ideas and tools to think through. Nothing here is financial advice, just education and encouragement from someone who's been in the trenches. So everything you hear in the class should be considered in light of your own personal situation, your experience, your knowledge, your temperament, your risk tolerance. So you are 100% in charge of what you choose to do with the information. And that's the beauty and responsibility of financial stewardship. So let's get started. And of course, I like to add how Hans always says, nobody is going to do for you what you're not willing to do for yourself. So the responsibility lies with us. Thank you all for sending in your goals. It really helps me tailor things to be specifically for you and not just a general thing that you could find online. So today, you got my disclaimer. We're going to have a little bit of a spiritual mind shift to start with, and then we will get into learning about the trade ticket and some strategies to help you when you buy, and then we'll have Q&A. So we are going to start out with the Prayer of Jabez, or Jabez. It's in 1 Chronicles 4:10. And I'm actually going to start in 1 Chronicles 4:9. And this is basically in Chronicles, they were giving the genealogy of the tribes. And we get to the tribe of Yehuda or Judah. And they're just giving a list. Here's this person and the father of this, those genealogies that you read because you want to read the whole Bible and then you fall asleep because you're like, there's all these names and it sounds like gibberish. But in the middle of all of this, there's Jabez or Jabez. And all of a sudden, in the middle of just a list of names and a list of genealogies, it says, and Jabez was more esteemed than his brothers. And his mother called his name Jabez, saying, because I bore him in pain. And Jabez called on the Elohim of Israel, saying, oh, that you would bless me indeed and enlarge my border, that your hand would be with me, and that you would keep me from evil, not to be my pain. And Elohim gave him what he asked. Now, that blows my mind. A list of names, then boom, all of a sudden, this man was called out and had a little story highlighted like a spotlight of a man who went to God and said, enlarge my territory. And God's like, hey, ask and you shall receive, knock and it shall be given to you. All right, thanks for asking. Here you go. So I want us to think about how we ask God. And do we ask him to enlarge our territory? And I think that's why you're here now. You want to enlarge the territory of your mind. You want to gain more knowledge. You want to enlarge the territory of your finances, of your legacy. So let's ask God and know that He is willing to do that. It's very interesting. There's so much here in that one tiny thing. He was more esteemed than his brothers. Why was that? It doesn't say. But I look at you women right here, and there is a thread. You all are women that serve not only your own family, but out in the community. And that is of high esteem. That's who Christ was. He went out and served. Already you are women of esteem. So go before the throne in confidence. I believe that we all have been through pain. We all have had knowledge withheld from us. Now, he was praying against the testimony of his name. He wanted a new testimony. He did not want what the world put on him. And I think we don't want what the world has put on us and what it's withheld from us in walking in the abundance that we were created to have. So he prayed against what his name meant. His name meant pain. And he wanted to overcome that pain. He wanted to reclaim what was taken from him. And I believe that's honorable and noble. There are things that have been taken from us. Maybe we were given bad advice. Maybe somebody stole from us. Maybe we trusted a financial advisor only to find out that their fees were thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. And we feel cheated. Jabez put a claim on what was taken from him. And God said, yes. So enlarge my border. What does that mean to you? What do you want multiplied? Obviously, we want our finances multiplied. And again, that is an honorable and noble thing. Otherwise, God would not have answered that prayer. So I pray for you ladies. Thank you for sending me your goals so that I can pray for them. And I want God to enlarge your borders in where you have the desire and need. Wealth, prosperity, spiritual impact, a legacy, something to leave behind. And the interesting thing about this when we read it is this is not a formula to get from God. It's not like, God, give me some more. It's not that. He was calling upon God to have God help him accomplish God's promises. One of his promises are the children of the righteous will never be seen begging for bread. So, as children of the Creator, there is a righteous hold of God's promises for abundance. And I see what you ladies have written in your goals. You're not like, I want to live on easy street. Yeah, we do want to have a comfortable life, but when I read your goals, you want to be generous. You want to give from the overflow. And again, that is honorable, that is worthwhile, and let's just claim God's promises. There is our mindset shift for today. I'm going to share the screen and I'm going to go into our trade ticket, and we'll be going into strategies. If you guys have any comments, if this hit you, you're welcome to share out loud or share in the chat as I get my account open to go over the trade ticket. So I hope that was helpful to you guys. Has anybody ever felt that parents or the church really glorified like being poor? Or, hey, we can't afford that, we're not those sort of people? You guys are totally welcome to share. I'm just having a little trouble logging in to my account to get the screen up, but we're also going to be interacting as I get the trade ticket up. So again, please feel comfortable to share or say anything at all, or how was your day, or, how has the journaling been going? How was your week?
My parents didn't share anything about finances when we were growing up. And I know now as an adult that my dad is a carpenter, and somebody didn't pay him after he put an entire addition on a house. So I know now as an adult, they had to put a second mortgage on their house so that they wouldn't go bankrupt through his business. Um, and the result of that was they pulled us out of private Christian school and put us in the public school for 1 year. So, but other than that, I knew nothing about their finances, nothing about budgeting. Even as an adult, I don't know anything about how they run things. It's almost like it's a taboo topic.
Wow, that's heartbreaking. That is just being cheated out of so many things. Oh my gosh. Did they ever end up making up for it, through still their hard work and
As my understanding is, they recoup the cost themselves. Um, but it did make my dad a little bit more business savvy in that he began to charge 50% upfront before he would even start working on a job. And he told the clients that it was to purchase the material. But that's all I know about it. It was like one conversation. I'm 60, and I've had one other conversation about money indirectly, and that was when I asked my mom where her will was. And even then, she was very reluctant to share where the will is, even though I'm an executor. So I know nothing. And there was no teaching in the home or in the Christian school that I went to.
wow.
I'm wondering if that's our era, because my parents never shared anything about their finances either, if it just was not something that they spoke about or felt that it was important. I'm sure they didn't think that our world would be the way it is now. I'm wondering if things are
That's
much more
so
simpler
true.
back then. Hmm. I don't know.
My family was the same. They didn't they just didn't share it. And I think it's such an important part of life. You have to get resources and trade resources to live. Um, I don't know, Sarah, did you have a great family discussion about money, or was it like all of us?
Uh-oh.
Sorry, I couldn't unmute myself for some reason. I feel like my understanding of finances as a young child and just growing up was that like money was tight. My mom was pretty she was very organized with money and budgeting, and she kept track of everything, and she would cut things down to make ends meet. But I feel like it was kind of like I picked up on that we didn't really have a lot, or I think I was 7, and my youngest sister at the time was very sick. She was a baby. And I think I heard my parents talking that they were worried that they needed to take her to the hospital. She was like sick for a week or something. And I remember like going to my piggy bank and getting like up all the quarters I had and like bringing them to my mom and writing a note to her to like, so she could have them for Bethany. And she didn't take them. She gave them back. She like thanked me, or I don't know, like gave them back. So I think I had this sense of like my dad worked really hard and like we didn't have a lot of money, but there were 6 of us kids. He was a pastor and he worked full time at a printing press, and I don't know. And so I kind of felt like money was like, yeah, not like, it was just something we didn't have a lot of, and it was something that like we needed to be kind of careful with, or yeah, I don't really feel like I was specifically taught how to use it. I just kind of picked up that my mom was really good at making sure that they weren't wasteful and that we didn't have a lot. That was kind of my experience.
So you grew up feeling like it was a limited supply, like
Yeah,
it's
definitely.
limited. We
Definitely.
need to really be careful. Yeah. Hi, Beth. Oh, Beth, go ahead and unmute.
Sorry,
Thank you. Thank you for sharing, you guys.
I'm sorry. I missed part of Sarah's story, but my phone thought I was driving, so I was struggling with it. So, but I'm here now. It looks like. Sorry, y'all.
So money, family, did you grow up having discussions about money and learning how to use it, or was it?
Can you hear? Is it talking to me?
Yeah.
No, that was not discussed. It was very private matter. My mom did most of the budgeting, and I knew money was tight, but no, it wasn't something that was shared. It was very private. And she's 88 now, and she just now started bringing me things in the wills and putting me on accounts and those type of things. But yeah, but not growing up.
Wow. So what I'm hearing, we have similar stories. Money was scarce. Money was something that wasn't talked about. I think it's kind of crazy if you have older parents or if you're the executor of a will and the person that made you the executor doesn't even want to tell you where the will is. I mean, that's just kind of mind-boggling to me. But we have a shared experience, and I think that causes a lot of our money problems. And I'm so glad you guys are here to work through it and break those chains, because money is not a limited resource. The government prints tons of it all the time. But God is a God of abundance. And I want to keep saying that because even though we might start to believe that now, sometimes it takes a long time to go from our head into our heart, into our emotions. Sometimes we block our own prosperity. And when I say that, I don't want to be like, oh, a prosperity gospel. You do have to do hard work, and all of you ladies are freaking hard workers. Like, I know the being in the medical field and working with children and just being out in the job force, you guys work really hard. Now it's time to get your money to work hard for you. There's a season. There's a season when we're young, when we're in the springtime of our life and we have energy and strength and we work. But then there's also a harvest season. And I think that's what all of us are looking for, that harvest season, that retirement season, to know that our hard work and our labor is going to produce a crop. And who do we trust? And I'm going to say, don't trust anybody except for yourself. Gain knowledge and, pray about it and see what's going to work in your situation. So yeah, let's reclaim all that territory that was taken from us. Now I have my Schwab account up. I'm going to share my screen and we're going to go through the trade ticket. And when we're done, I know Beth has been posting a lot. Beth, I'd love for you to start our Q&A when we're done with the trade ticket to talk about your situation, because there's so much to learn from there. Is that okay with you?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Perfect.
Yes.
Okay. Now, we're going to go through the trade ticket. Everybody should have gotten the worksheet that Hans has, the TWF 10% portfolio. It was a download. I sent it out. If you didn't see it yet, it should be sitting there in your email. The 10% portfolio, it was started. Everything I'm doing for these 12 weeks is going to give you the foundation you need to continue with TWF, because everything that we're doing, it's not a get rich quick. It takes time. It takes time and practice. So don't worry about rushing ahead and trying to get it all at once. We're going to build a good foundation. But this 10% portfolio, basically it started out with 10 stocks. And you were putting about an equal amount in those 10 stocks. There's much, much more now. And also it was a percentage of your income that was going to go to build wealth. Typically, people had debt. And the idea was the wealthy work by ratios. So if you give 10% to giving or to charity, and then 10% you pay yourself, that 10% would go in the portfolio, 10% portfolio. Then 10% would go towards debt, and then you live on the 70%. That was the goal. And you don't have to start out researching every one of the stocks on your own. If you're from Canada, like Grace, you have a little bit more of a challenge. But in the TWF group, you will find the Canadians who are giving suggestions and ideas on how to tweak it for your situation. So basically, these are some stocks you can start with if you choose. And I believe PSEC is on there, PSEC, and I've been recommending that to start for your first purchase because it's super cheap. It's like under $5 and it pays a pretty decent dividend. So we're going to go through the trade ticket, but here's some fish to get you started, and then you will continue to learn how to fish. But that's how I kind of consider these stocks. So I believe most of you have already bought at least one stock, and I'm going to give you a couple ideas on how to buy stocks, and I'm going to break down the trade ticket. So first of all, this is my sample test portfolio right here. And I'm sure you know you can click on this little thing you can click buy shares, and you will have a cute little pop-up right over here. And you can buy 1 share or 2 or whatever. So you may have already seen this ticket. You're not going to worry about options or mutual funds. When you see the ticket, it's nice that you see how much cash you have available. You don't want to go over that amount because you want to use what you have. Now, if you've applied for margin, that can act kind of like an overdraft if you accidentally buy more. You know, you can use margin. As we get further along, you definitely might want to consider applying for margin. I'm not going to get into margin deeply tonight, but okay. All right, so we have that. Now you can also go up to the top to where it says trade, and you'll get the same thing if you click on stocks and ETFs. Okay. I'm just looking here. Sometimes this has popped up and it says a day trade minimum equity call is in effect because this account is identified as a pattern day trader with less than $25,000 in total equity. To meet this call, increase the account value to $25,000 before the start of the trading day. If you place a day trade while in a day trade equity call, this account will be restricted to closing transactions until the account value is above $25,000 before the start of the trading day. So I did not realize this was on my account. It is not a big deal if you ever see it. This just means you've bought and sold something like a day trader, and you have basically, it's kind of like 3 strikes. If you do it 3 times, then you're going to get this. Now, as I said, this is my test account. I forgot this was here. It is a Roth account, so I can only put in $8,000 a year. I am hoping that by January 1st of next year, when I put the 8,000, I will meet this particular thing. Now, I did not realize this was going to come up, so this is kind of a bonus. If you can get 25,000 in your account, and I recommend a little bit more, then you will have more options with your trading. And I'm looking forward to that. But this is really not a big deal. You guys are not going to be like buying and selling and a whole lot. You're basically looking at buying to hold, and you're basically looking at buying to get a dividend. What I had done here is I bought something high, I bought something low, I wanted to sell it high, and I put in a few of those orders. So they put that up. But if you ever see that, don't worry, it's no big deal. Your money is still safe. So I'm going to go to the all-in-one trade ticket up here. And again, just kind of ignore that warning. Now there's a lot in here. I just want to show you the different options that you have. You can use the all-in-one trade ticket. Or I'm going to go back to the main screen. I find that this is easier. So hypothetically, if I wanted to buy more of something that I already have, I could go to WNTR. I could say, I want to buy one more share. I'll click on it. And this they call a snap ticket. Same information. It's easy. It's direct. Here's another thing I like to do. Now I automatically have that WNTR, that winter stock, but I could buy something that is not even in my list. I could click, I could just type in something new. So again, just because I have 3 stocks here, I might say, hey, I don't want Misty or Winter or YMAX. I want something new. I could still click on buy shares and then just change it to whatever I want. All right, so we're going to go to, obviously, you're going to want to look at your quantity. You're going to want to look at your action. You're either going to buy or you're going to sell. You're not going to sell short or buy to cover. Don't even worry about those. Those are for different strategies. Those are for day trading strategies or options. And maybe by the end of our 12 weeks, if you guys are interested in that, maybe we'll have a brief little overview of that. But right now, you're just going to look at buying and selling. Now, the order type is where it kind of gets fun. I'm going to go through these things for you. Now, market is basically you're buying it at the sticker price. You're buying it at the market price. There's no haggling. So right now, the market price of Prospect Capital is $3.36. And you might just want a quick buy because you just don't want to sit on the computer. Or you might say, hey, I want to save all the money I can. I don't want to do a market. I want to do a limit. I'm going to limit how much I want to pay. I don't want to give you $3.36. I don't want to go a penny over $3.35. You can do that. You'll see the price that the sellers are asking, and then you'll see a price that the people that want to buy are bartering for. All right, I'm going to change this to see if I can find, let's look at Apple. Oops, that was not Apple. Okay, there we go. Let's look at Apple. Right now, if I wanted to buy Apple at the market price, I'd pay $198.58. But the bidders are saying, that's 58 cents too much. I want a lower price. Well, again, you can determine if you want to aim for a lower price. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. All right, so now I'm going to go into the timing. Typically, when people do a market order, they are going to, the timing is automatically during regular trading hours. So the timing is already selected for you. If you do a limit order, the timing is automatically selected, but you can choose something different. All right, so just for fun, I'm going to put Apple at $50. So if I wanted to pay less for Apple and I said, hey, I don't know if my order is going to get filled because I'm asking way less, You might want to choose day plus extended hours. That means that your order could get filled after the market closes. And extended hours are, I believe they're 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. Every brokerage is slightly different. The market tends to open at 9:30 and closes at 4. So here you have more hours to get your order filled. I'm going to go down to the bottom. The FOK, fill or kill, is basically immediate. If you get to the point where you're doing options and day trading and you're like, hey, either the order needs to get filled now or I'm looking for something new, that's when you use that. So then you have all of these options for extended hours. If you're getting up early before the market opens, you can choose day plus extended hours, or maybe you just want to see if an order will get filled pre-market or aftermarket. Now, what I really like to use is GTC. If there's a stock that I want and I really don't want to pay what they're asking, I'm going to use GTC. It is good till canceled. Now, typically a GTC order, it could even be on the books for 3 months. So I might say, hey, during daytime hours, I want to put in an order for $50 for Apple, and I'm going to let it sit there. I'm not going to go on every day and say, hey, can I get Apple for 50 bucks? I'm just going to put an order in. It's good till canceled, or it's good till it expires. And during market hours, if Apple dropped for even half a second to 50 bucks, you would get it for $50. But for my purposes, I always like to add the extended hours. So that is the trade ticket. Now, I will say this. You're not going to get Apple at $50. You're not going to get it quite that low. But if you were serious about Apple and you were looking at the charts, you might want to say, hey, maybe, maybe $191 is reasonable. Maybe it's going to drop to 191, and I'm just going to do a good till canceled order, extended hours, and see what happens. Maybe I'll get lucky. You could do that, but the closer you get to the bid and ask price, the more likely you'll have to get that. All right, now there is another clue over here. I'm going to look at winter right in the middle, WNTR. I have a quantity of 1. And the price that it's trading at right now, or at close of market, was $36. The 52-week high was $60.64. The 52-week low is $35.23. So I like to look at the high and low when I'm ready to buy a stock. And I would say right now, if I wanted to buy winter, now would be a good time because it's trading near the 52-week low. Now we're not looking at charts yet, but this is a great way when you're doing things for the long term that you can say, hey, maybe that's a good buy. So those are just some tricks. I want to go into this more and add a few things, but I want to stop right here and ask, Have you looked at this? Do you have any questions? I know Debbie's been around for a bit, so she's probably familiar with some of these. Do you have any questions about this? Is it making sense? Is there something that is still a little fuzzy with what I showed you? Okay, so thumbs up, everything's good, makes sense so far. All right. And I just want to say that the trading and investments typically is boring. The more boring, the better. If somebody is on a podcast, if somebody is doing shorts, or they're advertising a stock, it's marketing. If the more exciting that they make it, the farther away you should run. Stock market investing is boring. It's for the long term. When you plant an oak tree, you don't expect it to sprout up overnight. It's a long-term thing. And watching an oak tree grow is pretty boring. But once it grows, it's massive, and so I just want you to remember that. Don't go chasing the marketing. Don't go chasing the hype. The better control you can get on your emotions, the better you're going to do in the long run. Which is why some of the journaling, I said, know who you are. Are you patient or are you impatient? What is your risk tolerance? And so the more you know yourself, the better you'll do. If you're an impatient person, then hey, you might want a few quick wins. If you're impatient, maybe you want to put 20% of your portfolio into speculations that could give you a quick win. If you're impatient, you're going to have to increase your risk tolerance. And by that, I mean, you're going to be investing in things that have a price volatility. If you put $100 into something and it drops down to $30, if you put $100 into a stock and then you open it the next morning and it's only worth $70, that's emotional, right? You're going to be like, I just freaking lost 30%. I lost $30. You got to take your emotions out of it. If you understand that that hypothetical stock bounces up and down, you're going to go into it knowing, hey, this is normal for that stock. I'm in it for a particular strategy, and I know it's going to go back up. The stock market always goes up and down. If you are a person that is patient, you're not impetuous, you really don't like a lot of risk, maybe you're only going to put 5 or 10% of your portfolio into those speculations, because you're like, I don't want to open up my account and see that I lost money. If you're still looking at my screen, it shows that today alone, I lost $204, according to the screen. My total gain and loss, it says I lost $1,023. I've lost $1,000. I lost 6.5% of my whole portfolio. How would you guys feel if you opened it up and you're like, oh my gosh, I just lost $1,000? And add some zeros. If you have a retirement account, okay, my account's 17,000 right here. If you have a retirement account that's 170,000, then that total loss would be 10,000. And you open it up, you're like, I lost $10,000. How are you going to feel? How are you going to handle that emotionally? Right, and that's something that people don't talk about when they're teaching trading. Let's double that. Instead of 170, let's say you have $340,000 in a retirement account, and then you open it up the next morning and your loss is down $20,000. How are you going to feel? Okay. Whether in all of those scenarios, the total gain or loss was still 6.5%. Okay, so when we're trading, we need to be hardcore unemotional. Emotion is what gets people in trouble with trading. If it's exciting, you have more of a chance of losing money. The more exciting it is, and the more you get your emotions involved. I had a good friend. My best friends, her husband, they're divorced now for very, very good reasons. He had financial training, and at home he did day trading. He had $80,000, lost it all. Like that was their whole nest egg. All of it gone based on emotion and ego. So this is something we're going to talk about through our journey. And yeah, so you need to be prepared, and we will look at different stocks today, and we're going to talk about different strategies so that you understand what to expect. I'm going to share another story. During the worldwide pandemic, I had been investing. I started the TWF formula at the end of 2019, and everything got shut down. Was it like 4 or 5 months later? So I was new to this. 4 or 5 months into it, my portfolio and the value of my stocks dropped by 40%, like almost half. And I panicked and I sold.
Oh no.
Yeah, so because I didn't know, and I'm hearing terms about stop loss, and I will explain that term. Stop loss is when you are buying and selling stocks. And typically this is more with trading, but not with buy and hold. I didn't know. I was buying and holding, but I had a stop loss. And a stop loss is where you protect your capital. And let's say you're putting $10,000 in something, and you're like, I know the stock market goes up and down, but if I lose 20%, I'm going to get out so I don't lose any more. It's a way to protect your capital. When you are buying and holding in quality stocks for the long term, you don't need to worry about a stop loss. If I had kept it, the market went back up. And what I should have done is I should have doubled down and gathered every bit of cash I could to buy everything instead of selling, right? Buy low, sell high. I did the opposite. It was painful, and I learned from that. We had a big market correction, and by correction, that means prices are dropping. Debbie knows what I'm talking about. I mean, this was like a month ago, like things dropped like a cliff. And Debbie, what did we do?
I bought 12,000 more.
Exactly. All right. So, I learned from my mistake, and we're like that. When people are panicking, when people are fearful, when people are going off emotion, that's where we need to be level-headed and say, it's on sale. It's on bottom market, bottom of the basement prices, clearance rack sale. But it takes some balls to do that. It takes some balls to overcome your emotion and be like, everybody's selling. So I'm just sharing this with you because I want you to learn from my mistakes. So that was definitely a learning experience. Whew. And we do get it. Do you still get emotional, Debbie, when you see ups and downs in your portfolio? I'm trying not to, but
I did it first, but that's what I like about the support group is because they're there. They just don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's going to come back up. Don't worry about it. So I didn't, and I had about 12,000 left of money I needed to allocate, and I jumped in, and actually I get excited now when I see it go down. Go down some more. I'm going to buy some more because I know it's going to, and it did. I went down in that month's time. I went down $10,000. And it's back up there. It's back up where it was again.
right.
But the support helped a lot get through that.
Definitely. Definitely. So I will admit I'm working on my emotions. So I'm learning to get excited whether it goes down or up. When it goes down, sometimes it is kind of hard to be like, oh, it doesn't look like I have as much money. But I'm like, there's a sale. I'm trying to be happy and grateful no matter what. So when it goes down, I'm like, let me find out what's on sale. What are the sales? So my husband and I, we rolled in our entire retirement, 401ks, 407bs, all that stuff. We rolled it over to Schwab because we wanted to self-direct. And we did not have a whole lot of choices where his money was. There were mutual funds, there were fees, and I'm like, we're not really getting a good return. And they're making money off me, whether I'm making money or not. I'm like, nope, just give it all to me. We're going to put it into Schwab. And we structured our accounts a little differently once they were in Schwab. But dang, I mean, we easily lost like 30,000 or 40,000 when that dropped. But now we have more than before the drop. So I hope that makes sense. So I want to show you another thing with this particular Roth that I have here. Now, my husband and I have a joint account. And when I log in, I will see our, if I can go over here. So I will see our joint account and my Roth when I log in with my credentials. Now, when he logs in with his credentials, he sees the joint account, he sees his Roth, and he sees his rollover. And we split the money between the two. So as a single income family, I was a stay-at-home mom. He was the only one working. We're basically only going to have one Social Security payment. He's got a couple of years to wait on that. It was really important to me to make the most of our money. And I know, Beth, I'm definitely going to get to you. I know you're in the same situation, single income, one income is taking care of everybody. So you need to stretch it. So definitely want to talk about that. But let's see. I want to talk about the different strategies, and I want you to look at my account value. You can only put in $7,000 a year into a Roth if you make a certain amount of money. I want to talk about Roths right now. I know in Canada you have a different name for the tax advantaged accounts. And I'm doing this with my son can only put $7,000 in. So I'm encouraging him to do that. I'm making him do that. And I'm also telling him to put the money in a Roth first instead of a 401k, even though he gets matching funds. Now, maybe that surprises you because everywhere that you hear, oh, 401k, max out your 401k first, especially if you get matching funds. It's like free money. I am here to tell you guys there is no such thing as a free lunch. The 401ks, number one, were never meant to cover your retirement. They were a tiny supplement, number one, and that's from the inventor of the 401k. Number two, you have three possibilities with a 401k versus putting money into a Roth first. Okay, you got three possibilities. The 401k and the Roth, if you're putting the same amount of dollars in of your own, they're going to be equal when you hit retirement. Or the 401k will be less, or the 401k will be more than your Roth. Those are the only options. Now, I've run scenarios, I have studied this, and I encourage you not to take my word for it, but do your own research. If my son has a Roth right now, and I'm making him put $7,000 in, these are dollars that the IRS has already taken out their money. They're after tax. He gets his paycheck. He sees, oh, they already took this much money out of my paycheck. This is what I have left. $7,000 a year is going into his Roth. He's not going to be able to touch it until he's 59 and a half. And when he does, everything is going to be tax-free. Every cent is going to be tax-free. All the growth, it's going to be compound. He's 22. We started this when he was 19. Can you imagine the compounding? Even though it's just a small amount, it's just $7,000 a year. He works for a company that has a 401k, and they will do matching funds. But you don't get much of a choice for the funds that are in your 401k. You don't get much of a choice. You have to pick from mutual funds. You have to pick from what they allow you. So even if he put $7,000 of his own money into a 401k, and he got the matching funds, and he stayed with that company until retirement, there's fees that are taken out that reduce your compounding. And in the end, in the scenarios that I've researched, and you can use AI, you can use Grok, ChatGPT to help you run these scenarios, they still did not outperform a self-directed Roth, with even being invested in a simple S&P 500 index. So what happened to that free money? That free money was eaten up in fees, and more of your capital was eaten up in fees. So a Roth, and you can even start a Roth in retirement if you wanted to for whatever reason. And you can do rollovers if you choose to. And if anybody wants more details on that, we can talk. Something else that we did strategy wise, and I'm just throwing out everything that I learned and things for you to consider. My husband had money in his retirement accounts at work. He did not get matching funds. We rolled over everything to Schwab because we use Schwab. They made it very easy. Once it was in Schwab, we decided to take a large portion out. Well, actually, we didn't take it out. We decided that we wanted to transfer it into a Roth. Now, remember I said you can only put $7,000 a year into a Roth. If you are of a certain age, you can put $8,000 a year into it. But if you already have a retirement account, it's called a backdoor Roth. You can transfer money from an IRA, a retirement account, and put it into a Roth. Why do that? In a regular retirement account, whether it's a 401k, 403b, 457b, or just a regular retirement account, your money will be taxed when you take it out. It'll grow tax-free. But when you take it out, it's going to get taxed like regular income. The IRS is going to get their share. And if you're retired and you don't take enough out, the IRS will make you take it out so that they can get paid. It's called RMDs, required minimum distributions. I don't know about you. I don't want anybody telling me what to do with my money. And I sure as heck don't want the government saying, hey, we want to tax you on that money that's sitting there, so we're going to force you to take it out. I don't like that. Now, what we chose to do, it's called a backdoor Roth. We took a big chunk of it out and we rolled it into a Roth, which means, let's say we put $200,000 out of the regular IRA into the Roth. The IRS is like, oh, you got an extra 200 grand this year. We're going to tax you on it, and we're going to tax you at those tax rates. So it's going to look like you made an extra $200,000. That's a big tax bill. And I ran the numbers, the $200,000 going into the Roth is going to grow tax-free. I will get to your question. Hold on, Grace. So it's going to grow tax-free. And knowing what we know from True Wealth Formula, knowing what we know how to get better returns, it is going to grow to such an extent that that big tax bill is going to be paid in less than a year. And then from then on, it's just a big account that's producing money tax-free. Those are just some different strategies. Grace, you had a question or you needed clarification.
How did you put money into it, that large sum, if there's a cap on how much you can contribute each year?
Excellent, excellent question. And I'm sorry I didn't make that clear. I'm so glad you asked. This is called a backdoor Roth. So when you already have a big nest egg that is already under the umbrella of a retirement account, it's already under the umbrella of a retirement account. You're just saying, I want it under a different umbrella. Okay, so if it were, so yeah, so basically over the years, it was put away under a retirement account and you're just saying, I don't like this retirement account, I want it in the Roth retirement account, it's still a retirement account. So with the US laws, the IRS says, yeah, I mean, it's a retirement account. You don't like that retirement account? You want it in a Roth? Sure, move as much over as you can.
Okay.
We're going to send you a bill for it. We're going to count it as income.
Of course.
Great question.
Sorry.
Okay, so I know we're right at the hour mark, and I will stay on with you guys. I want to get questions answered and talk more about strategies and give you homework for next week. But Beth, I know you had questions and concerns, and you had a couple of things that you were posting in the group that I think is very valuable to talk about. So I'm going to stop sharing right now and let you talk, and let's work through.
Okay. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. And I just noticed your question, stop loss or stock loss. Yeah, that's a tongue twister. What I was talking back there was a stop loss. Like you see things losing value and you're like, stop,
Okay.
I don't want to lose any more value.
Okay.
But I don't think it's necessary if you're holding long-term high-paying dividend stocks. All right. Good.
Well, you had said just play around, and in your accounts and start looking around, getting familiar. And I was thinking about the retirement account that I had, and I had at the end of last year, I had taken it out of my traditional 401k and rolled it over to what he called a metered S&P, which had somebody directing it. There's people that were supposed to be watching the funds and keeping a better eye on it to make me a better return. And he did tell me that there was a 1% charge, and me not being savvy enough, I thought, well, okay, they have to get paid. But I did not realize how much that would cost me. And when I went in and was looking around at it, I was noticed the asset-based fee. So I went in, I don't know how I found it, but it clicked around enough, and I finally found a list of those fees, and I started adding them up. And from January to June, it was like $4,000. And I've been seeing my money go down, and it's those fees for a large part. And so yes, I did get a little emotional and started getting worried. But what I'm hearing you say is that it'd probably be best to do a self-directed backdoor Roth. And I know you're not an advisor, and I know that's what you were just giving an example of what you did, but you're saying that makes more money than the 401k with all the fees. Or the metered S&P is what I'm in, which I don't fully understand either. So yes, I want to get the fees stopped. I want it to be able to grow, because then you posted that video and talked about how it just softens it out, and I don't want that to happen. So yeah, that's basically what's going on. Also, well, do you have anything more to say about that?
Yeah, let's talk about this for a moment before we move on. Debbie, you can chime in. A metered S&P, like WTF? I mean, like you could put all of your money into Schwab and just buy your own S&P index There's a few of them out there. SPY is one of them. Like you could just do your own and have zero fees.
Mhm. That's what I'm beginning to understand.
It I'm so glad you're here. It crushes me. And these financial guys,
I'm pretty upset.
some of them just they think they're doing a good job and that they're getting paid some good money and they think they're doing a good job because it's what they're taught.
And they're watching your money.
And what,
They're not watching it.
no, I don't think so. And what he would tell me when he sees me getting upset, he goes, "Oh, you're young. You can work another 10 years.
What?
Yeah. And I'm like, it makes me mad because in my mind, I'm thinking, well, you just want me to continue to work to pay your salary. I'm 61. I don't want to have to work another 10 years.
Okay, I'm sorry. I reversed my stance. He's a freaking idiot. Oh, you're 61. You'd work another 10 years. Okay.
And this is somebody I really trusted and I had a lot of respect for. And I knew nothing. And I mean, I'm so glad that Grace prompted you to do, I'm assuming it was Grace that prompted you to do this. Maybe it was Debbie, I don't know, but I'm so glad you're here to help. But yes, I want to have an appointment with him on Monday and let him know that I don't appreciate that 1% fee. And I don't know, how should I handle it with him?
I'll tell you what I would do. And you know your relationship. You can do whatever you want. I would call Schwab tomorrow.
Okay.
And you already have an account with Schwab. You already transferred some money. And they're so friendly. I would say I have a retirement account. Is it a 401k or is it a 403b or like
That's a 401k. Yes.
401k? Okay. I would say I'd call Schwab and say, I have this account. I have a retirement account at blah blah blah. I want to transfer the whole thing over to you in a rollover IRA.
A rollover IRA, but okay.
And
They're gonna.
and they will. And
No, go ahead.
I'll even show you right on here. Let me get my screen sharing going, and they will walk you through it.
And that would prevent me from paying taxes because we're just doing the same.
Well, yeah, you won't have to worry about taxes. You're not taking the money out of an IRA into your pocket.
Right.
You're moving the money from one IRA to another IRA. That's it.
Yes. And I know Schwab, and I've kind of asked you this question too, how's Schwab making their money? Because I know they have to make money too. But from what I understand from talking to somebody else, they make money, they like buy the stocks at a cheaper price and sell it to you maybe.
No. They don't buy them at a cheaper price and sell them to you. I don't know who said that, but they've got lots of ways to make money. And they make money when you have cash. Like, can you see my screen now?
Let me scroll over to it. Yeah, sort of. I need to get a better.
That's okay. You can watch the replay. Right here where I'm trying to circle,
Yes.
I've got $2,300 cash. They're making money by whatever sits in cash.
Oh,
That's one way. Another way is options contracts. They make money that way. There's certain charges for options. They also have other institutions that are putting large sums of money. They're making money. How does my bank make money?
by using your money.
Exactly. And they used to send out checkbooks, those cost money. So Schwab is not hurting for money. They've got lots of ways to make money.
I understand why I'd be gun shy because I've already been taken advantage of once. So you would think that why would Charles Schwab be any different? But I trust you.
This is you taking your money back.
Yes.
And you are going to be in control of your money. And it's just like putting money into a checking account. Actually, you can even use Schwab for checking and savings. If you see the return, you can do checking, you can do savings, you can do home loans, all sorts of things. So I'm gonna look at, if you can't find it here, just go to the search bar and type IRA. And then you should be able to click on
Rollover maybe.
what is an IRA account. So if you go to the search, type in IRA, you'll see what is an IRA account. Then you can look, it'll take you to a page, and you're going to look at the top. It says retirement accounts, traditional IRA, Roth IRA, or rollover IRA. You're going to do the rollover IRA. You're going to click on it. You can watch the little video, and you can read all about it. And it will tell you, you already did the first two steps. Well, no, you didn't. Okay. Yeah, it'll tell you exactly what to do. It's just like opening a checking account. So just go to that page, just read through it, and then call them up, and they will help walk you through it. They're used to talking to people who don't do it every day. They do it every day. They help people. It's just like moving your account from, you know, from like a Capital One checking account to a Wells Fargo checking account.
Right. But a checking account, you don't have to pick out what you're invested in. So when I roll this IRA over, am I going to be choosing what categories my money's invested in?
Yeah.
Okay.
What they'll probably do is whatever your money is invested in now,
That's what they'll repeat.
they'll sell it and give you the cash value to roll over, and then it will come into your account as cash.
Okay.
And then from there, you'll go purchase your stocks.
Okay. So it'll just be a cash balance account. And then, then I go and invest it after that.
Allocate it.
Allocate it. So when they sell it, I'm going to be losing money, right?
Whatever the market value is at the moment they sell it is what you'll get. So I don't want you to look into it as, oh, I'm losing money. It's because they're going to sell it at a market value. You've already lost money.
Right.
So let's stop the bleeding. Wherever the market is at when they sell it, the market's going to be in a similar place when it gets rolled over to Schwab and you buy it. Just like selling a house. If you're like, oh, the market's really high, I got a lot for my house, I just sold it. Well, now you need to buy a new house and the market's still high. You know what I'm saying? So
I'm in the process of moving a 401k Roth from Fidelity to my Schwab. And I was on the phone yesterday with them, and what they're going to do is they're just going to have you're going to end up telling them, whoever they are, for me it's Fidelity, to write out a check to Charles Schwab, FBO, I forget what the FBO stands for, and then your name. So it's kind of going to be on both, and they're going to put it in, and you'll put it into your account in Schwab. They can mail you back, or you can have them mail it to Schwab. Me, I want them to mail it to me. I want to hand deliver it myself.
And Debbie, I thought about that, but that just delays your money getting into that account, doesn't it? I mean, if they mail it to you and then you have to mail it to Schwab, that just gives you more.
I don't mail it, I drive it. I just drive to Schwab and have them put it right in there. It might take about a week to get the check. So, I mean, it's not like it's a big, it's not 2-3 month process. It's just about a week maybe.
Okay. Okay.
Now, I did it the other way and I didn't have a problem. So basically, whatever way you're comfortable with, Beth, you have Debbie's experience and my experience, and they both worked. So whatever way you're comfortable with, talk with Schwab. If you don't have a Schwab office near you, then that might be a factor, but
Yeah, I haven't even looked. I need to check.
so once you do that, we're here going through things slowly and deeply. You've got the 1-year membership with True Wealth Formula, and that's going to, I mean, Hans started out saying, you should make like 10 to 12% a year. And now people are making like 15 to 20% a year on their money without the fees. The only fee I pay is my membership to TWF every year. And it's worth it. It's so worth it.
Yes. Okay.
So, all right. All right. It's 9:23. It's up to you guys. If you guys want to go, we'll go. If you want to ask one more question, we'll ask one more question. Like, I could be here for the entire night. I could get my pajamas on and I could go all night, but I don't want to overwhelm anybody. And what do you guys want to do? Do you have one more question, or do you want to close it up and see me next week?
Well, I was asking you about money markets, or posted about money markets, because before we had talked about having that emergency money, and right now it's just sitting in a low return savings account. So I was thinking about putting it into a money market, so for the emergency money. What's
Schwab has a money market.
I'm sorry.
Schwab has the money market. Schwab has a money market.
Okay. Do you know what % they're paying?
It varies.
For some, right
There's
now, when I first opened it was 5.1, but now it's 4 something.
It changes slightly every week. And let's get deeper into that when you have your money in Schwab.
Okay.
Okay. And we'll work on those strategies when you have your money in Schwab. And I'm just.
So I should go ahead and make an appointment with the financial advisor.
Why make an appointment? Why waste your time? The wealthy value time. Don't waste your time. Call Schwab. I want to move the money. It's your money.
I
You
don't
don't
even.
need to apologize. You don't need to make excuses to them. Say, here's where my account is. I want to move it to you. I want a rollover IRA. I don't do this every day. I want to make sure I do it right. What do I need to tell the other company? You don't need an appointment.
Okay.
Just call them up and send the paperwork. Hey, I'm moving. I want you.
Moving my money.
Yeah. Hey, my money is going to be moved over to Schwab. Period. Period. You don't need to say why. You don't need to give them any excuses. You don't need to have them try and change your mind. Why? Oh my gosh, why are you doing this? They want to put doubt in your mind. You can just say, hey, I don't have time to talk about this. Thank you for your service. I gotta go. Bye-bye. No hard feelings. They're doing what they taught. You guys had an agreement and you're free to move on. You're not married.
Okay. Thank you.
That's it. Don't waste your time having an appointment. And don't be nice. I'm not saying be mean.
Right.
You don't need to be nice. It's your money.
Because
I'm moving it to Schwab. That's what I feel is right for me now. I don't want to discuss it. But thank you for your service. It's time for me to move on. Be
Thank-
gracious. That's it.
Okay.
All right. And we'll talk about the other money market accounts if you want to add, and then we'll close out. If you want to add to your list, SNOXX and SWVXX.
What are they again? SNOX.
Yeah, those are
What is that? SW what?
SWVXX.
Hmm.
And what are those?
So you can buy them just like you buy a stock. They're a money market account, generally ranging from 4 to 5% a year. And it pays its interest to you every single month. And that interest that it pays you can be reinvested fractionally, just like a dividend.
These
So
are in Schwab.
those are in Schwab. They're Schwab like money market accounts. And they're not like a CD. When you want the money, you have the money. The only caveat is if you want to cash it in, you put the order in on Tuesday and you have to wait until Wednesday for the cash to be available. You know, you've got to wait until the next day for the cash to be available. That's it. No penalties, nothing.
Okay.
And I'm sure there's similar ticker symbols like that for you in Canada, Grace. I like to park my money there when I don't know what to do with it. I like to park my liquidity there when I don't know what to do with it, or I'm waiting for the market to drop so that I have some cash to pick up some sales when they happen. So that's what I like to put aside.
So when you say when you need money, like say for an emergency or surgery or whatever, and it takes a day to come out, do they just transfer it to your checking account or?
No, it just, if I'm still screen sharing, I'm gonna go back to my Roth. It would show up, it would show up in cash. It would show up right there in cash. And then from there, I can transfer it to my checking account or whatever.
Oh, okay, I gotcha. Okay.
One more thing that I did want to add on to this. My account value, this is just the final thing. Oh, there's so much. I'm so glad we have 12 weeks together. I was able to put $8,000 a year into my Roth. I don't know why I did not start putting money into my Roth at 2019 when I started investing. I did it very recently. This December, I put in $8,000, and then January, I put in $8,000. I put in $16,000 into my Roth because that's the maximum every calendar year, right? How much does it say that I have in my account?
17.
Okay, 17 and change.
Yeah.
But what does it say my total loss is?
Well, it doesn't make sense.
Okay, exactly. So I want you to realize when you see the total gain and loss, the investment companies calculate it a different way than I calculate it. That's why you have to journal. That's why you have to have, you've got to write down these things. You have to keep track of your investments. Here's why it doesn't make sense, Debbie. We get dividends, right? And the dividends repurchase shares. Maybe the dividends repurchased shares at a higher price, and then the shares went down. So basically, this gain and loss, I only put $16,000 in the account. But the way the investment company calculates it is every dividend that I get, it calculates it as, oh, I'm putting more money into the account. When I'm not putting more money into the account, the money is making me money. Do you see that? I'm not allowed to put more than $8,000 a year into this account. I only put 16 in. The IRS won't let me put a penny more into the account. The only way I can get more money into the account is have my money making me money, is because of those dividends. And I want you to look here, and this is the final thing, and then we will go. We'll talk about it more tomorrow. Can you guys see the dividend yield that I'm have my cursor on?
Looks big.
What numbers do you see?
I see 103.5, 83.5, or 05, 63.68.
Okay,
That's
so,
low for Misty.
yeah, they cut their dividend almost in half, so
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, they dropped it. They dropped it, but still 83 is not bad. So basically, let's basically, again, this is my test account. If I lose the entire $17,000 in this account tomorrow, because these companies go out of business, I'll still be able to eat. All right, this is my high risk account. Okay. I'll still be able to eat and sleep at night. This will not affect our life at all if I lost the $17,000. Would I feel horrible? Yeah, I would get emotional I'd be like, dang. But that's the risk I'm willing to take to get an 83% dividend yield, 100%. You know what that means?
Dollar
If
for
if I put $100 in, it's going to double by the end of the year. Imagine your money doubling. All right. Now, again, I want to be clear. This is what we're doing when we talk about risk. You don't want to put your whole entire retirement in stocks that are going to give you 100% return on your money or an 83% return on your money. That's not wise. However, that will give you some wins. You will have a portion of your portfolio that could potentially really have a nice cash flow. So, so these are the type of stocks that I did to work on my car loan. But let's talk about that when you get your money rolled over, and we will be buying some stocks. I think we covered a lot tonight.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope it was worth it. And finally, I would say pick a, if you haven't bought some stocks, Grace, I know you need to see what the Canadians are doing. You're going to want to find companies that are paying at least a 7 to 15% dividend. You want to start ramping up and looking at in the TWF group to find out what the Canadians are doing. What you've been doing has been great, but we can expand 7 to 15% return is not crazy. There are stocks out there that do it. I want to see what the Canadians are doing. And when you're watching the replay, you know, you can buy a few of those stocks. And so look at those stocks. And my final assignment is, with your goals, and you all have great goals, pick a number. Find a number. How much money do you want your portfolio to be producing a year? Start with that. And maybe dream.
A
What
year
about
from now, or
this year, in 2025?
Okay.
How much would you like your portfolio to produce this year? You look at your portfolio based on where you're at and figure out how much would I like that income to be? And do it for the next 5 years. What about 2026? You know, and this is kind of like the MOAC, Debbie, that we're used to, but think about where you want to be. You might want to go out 5 to 10 years. How much income do you want to see your portfolio producing? So if you have $100,000 portfolio, maybe $1,000 a month would be pretty great. All right. And if that $100,000 is in a Roth IRA or the Canadian tax-free option, that'd be $1,000 a month tax-free. All right, it's totally doable.
So when you say how much do you want your portfolio to produce, you're talking about dividends without touching the principal. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, yes. The goal of this is you never want to touch your principal. You want your portfolio to grow to the point where it's going to give you a paycheck every month without touching the principal.
Okay.
That's the goal. So consider what you have now and consider how much would you like that to produce in 2025. And then what about 2026? And carry it out. Dream a little. Write it down. Nothing becomes dynamic until it becomes specific. So write something specific and let's reach that goal. Does that make sense?
Can I ask one question?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's back to when you were talking about your son. Did you tell him to max out his Roth before his 401k, or did you tell him the other way around?
Great clarification. I said to him, do not do your 401k with the matching funds. Don't do it.
And if he would max out his Roth, then he would switch to the 401k?
No.
Okay. What would he do with
Would
the
keep it
extra?
He would keep it in a regular investment account.
Okay.
A regular investment account. I feel with what we're learning here and what I'm teaching him and what TWF is teaching, I don't like anybody else messing with my money.
Okay.
401ks, you have, I'm sorry, crappy mutual funds to pick. Yeah, Debbie is shaking her head. I'm like, what kind of garbage? These are not choices. These are not choices. How much free money do you want to throw at me for these crappy mutual funds?
Okay, my next question is,
Sorry, went off there.
no, that's okay. What is a regular investment account? What does that look like?
Okay, so if you are, I'm still screen sharing, so I don't know what so let me go over here to my accounts. I'm going to go to summary. It's basically the first thing that you open. It's just a regular account that you can buy and sell stocks, that any gains you get will be taxed.
Okay.
But you can also take money out anytime you want for emergencies or anything like that. A retirement account, you can't touch it until you're retired. There's good and bad to that. So for my son, he's got his retirement account, tax-free. He can't touch it until he's 59 and a half. And when he is, it's all free money that's been growing for 40 years. The overflow, he can invest in just the regular account that doesn't have protection. Does that make sense?
It does.
Great question. All right, anything special you guys want to learn for next week? You can let me know, or you can text me. We're just gonna continue slowly and steadily moving through, probably learning about how to analyze some stocks so that you can understand why you're buying it. Because right now, most of you are just, I want to buy a stock. And that's exactly how everybody starts. You're doing great. Now we're gonna,
How to fish.
yeah. All right, you guys. I appreciate you. I'm excited
Good
for
night.
you all.
Thank you.
Thank
Good night.
you so much, Larissa.